All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Bowley's Lane, our Eastern Sanitation Yard. My name is Richard Lynn. I'm the Interim Director for the Department of Public Works. This is a very exciting day for us, as you can tell with all of our great trucks and crews behind us. But first, I'm going to bring up our Honorable Mayor, Brandon Scott, for some opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us this morning on the beautiful March morning. It's a little warm today, which is a great thing. We are here this morning, of course, to gather to celebrate the return of weekly recycling in Baltimore City. First, I want to acknowledge all of the city staff, particularly the members of DPW who are here this morning. This work is made possible by their dedication to Baltimore City each and every day, so let's give them a round of applause. They do an extremely difficult job, and they often don't get the recognition or thanks that they deserve. And yes, sometimes that job means running from dogs in alleys. That's why the dog is barking. So thank you to the DPW solid waste team. I also want to thank our agency heads for their leadership throughout this process. Director Luna, Director Burke Attila from DGS, the director of our Mayor's Office of Infrastructure Development, Matt Garbach, and of course our City Administrator, Faith Leach, and our Deputy City Administrator, Simone Johnson. Baltimore, a weekly recycling is back. Tomorrow, March the 5th, crews just like the ones here today will start on their weekly collection routes. That's right, we are retiring the bi-weekly recycling schedule. That means no more A week or B week guessing for Baltimore residents. Our crews will be out each and every week to collect your recycling. We want this return to weekly recycling collection to be as seamless as possible for our residents, which means your collection day is staying the same for everyone. Now, I want to be very clear, including me. Your time may change. You may go from the beginning of the route to the end of the route, but your day will not change, and you don't have to guess about which week to put it out anymore. This is an important and huge milestone for Baltimore, and it took a significant amount of work to get here. I just want to remind us all that when I took office, there was zero, zilch, nada recycling collection happening in Baltimore due to the pandemic. I directed my administration to create and implement a strategy to support a sustainable return to weekly recycling, and they did just that. We put everyone in the room, from the city administration, DPW, DGS, MOED, the recovery office, human resources, and the Office of Performance and Innovation, to develop and execute a strategy that would stick. In the end, we needed three things. Hiring more workers, and since July, DPW has hired or promoted 35 new drivers and 74 new solid waste workers. And with the latest hires, solid waste is down to 8.6% vacancy rate, which is the lowest rate it has been since even before the pandemic. Over the past few weeks, yes, you can clap for that. Over the past few weeks, DPW has been working to make sure that these new hires are trained and ready to work their routes. I actually went out on the route and did that myself a couple of weeks ago, and we are incredibly excited to have them on the team delivering this critical service for our residents in Baltimore. Second, expanding our fleet of vehicles. Remind everybody, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. In 2021, almost immediately after I took office, we ordered new load packers, and after significant supply chain delays, we finally received 20 of the 80 trucks that we ordered, with dozens more on the way. Baltimore, there is nothing anybody in the city of Baltimore or any city in the country or anybody ordering any vehicles could have done about the supply chains over the last few years. If we could have got these trucks faster, we would have done so. We did every single thing that we could, but we know following the pandemic, the supply chains for everything, from food to vehicles to trucks to steel to wood to things that they need to build houses to asphalt that we saw go missing a few years ago, changed. And we have to understand what impact that had on this service, because without the trucks, these women and men can't do their work. I want to thank DGS for working around the clock to complete the necessary customization of our trucks to get them road ready for Baltimore streets and narrow alleyways. And as you can see behind us, the new trucks are beautiful and will serve our residents and city well. And third, we needed to optimize our routes. When I took office, these crews were still using paper maps, yes, in 2020 and 2021, to run their routes and making 2,600 stops per day. With this latest efforts to optimize the routes, we've implemented modern GPS and tracking systems, established more efficient routes, bringing that 2,600 number down to 1,800, and made the process better and more optimized for our crews. That's why while your pickup day is not changing, your pickup time might change. From day one, I've told the residents that they can always count on me to not only do the right thing, but do the thing that may often not be popular, but also to be open and honest and truthful. That is why my administration has done the difficult work of getting to the root cause of the challenges that impact the recycling services. That meant taking time to invest in our employees who had been underinvested in for years by implementing $10,000 CDL bonuses. And that meant investing more than $10 million to modernize our fleet, putting us on a path to having one of the most modernized fleets DPW has ever had. Baltimore, you can be assured that we've done the hard work and are more than ready to support this team and this return to weekly recycling in a way that is sustainable for the future. I want to thank each and every one of you for staying committed to reducing waste in our city. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for doing bi-weekly recycling. And just remember, let's keep it clean, Baltimore. And with that, I will turn it back over to Director Luna. Director?
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Before I go into my remarks, I just want to take a moment just to thank you and your outstanding leadership throughout this entire process for bringing all of the parties together, from the support that we got from General Services, the Human Resources, the administration, all the leadership team within DPW, especially our leadership team within the Bureau of Solid Waste. The team really corralled together over the past few years, and most recently in these really aggressive last few weeks before implementing weekly recycling. It is a testament to the hard work and dedication of our DPW employees that we really took this issue seriously, and we put together and put together a plan that's going to be sustainable for years to come. As the mayor mentioned, one thing to really focus with our residents is your recycling day will not be changing. And so like the mayor had mentioned, the times that we go out and collect may vary depending on if you're at the beginning of the route, middle of the route, or end of the route. But that was a really important part for us as we were optimizing the routes and redesigning the service from top to bottom. We wanted to ensure that this was as seamless as possible for our residents. And so ensuring that those routes stay on the same day was critical for us. Also, these new trucks that you see before you, you'll be seeing more of these out on the road, especially as we get in additional trucks that we had ordered back in 2021, like the mayor had mentioned. So as you can see, these trucks have a very new look. The aero design signifies the new routes and the evolution of the recycling symbol. DPW's solid waste fleet is comprised of load packers that are designed specifically to move through Baltimore's narrow alleyways. In the solid waste industry, these trucks are known as the Baltimore truck. 60% of our routes are alleyway pickups, and so we do require these specialized trucks that are much more narrow than the other ones that you see out there on the roads. And so these are the trucks that you're going to be seeing throughout this campaign. Finally, in terms of marketing, you'll be seeing a whole new wave of marketing materials from our DPW team. Our communications team has done a great job of pulling together some great talking points and really materials that are going to help us increase the tonnage that's collected through our recycling operations. So for helping the residents get back into the swing of weekly recycling, DPW is urging us to follow the 3 C's. First, clean it. Make sure your recycling materials are clean and empty. That ensures rinsing containers to remove any food residue before placing them in your recycling cart. Second, contain it. Make sure your city-issued blue cart is in good condition with a secure lid. If you need any assistance or if you need an order replacement, please call 311. We urge residents to contain your materials at any means necessary. Just please do not put those in a plastic bag. That's what we're asking everybody. And then finally, curb it. So set your recycling container out to on your regular recycling collection day. Place your items out for pickup so that we can go out there and collect it. Like I said, our staff takes great pride in the work that they do every single day, and getting to this point is a huge testament to their dedication to this overall work and helping keeping Baltimore clean. So with that, I want to bring up next our Director of Department of General Services, Mr. Burke Attila.
Thank you, Director Luna, and a very good morning to everyone. On behalf of the Department of General Services and our fleet team, I'm pleased to be here today to celebrate a major milestone. As you can see, this is the result of a great teamwork, and a large part of that was an extraordinary level of ingenuity and dedication from our fleet management team. Because they needed to overcome an almost perfect storm of challenges, obstacles to locate, purchase, outfit, and deliver these trucks to collect recyclable waste from city residents. Nearly 3 years ago, we faced a unique challenge. All trucks orders were delayed by a disruption to the supply chain caused by the pandemic. Our regular order of load packers that had been scheduled for replacement was pushed back greatly. On top of that, we needed to replace nearly 50 additional load packers that would soon be obsolete, no longer supported by the original manufacturer and facing a diminishing availability of parts. Load packers, as everybody mentioned, highly specialized vehicles due to the alley width unique to our region, specifically to Baltimore. Procuring them requires detailed coordination with 3 main suppliers: a chassis manufacturer, a body manufacturer, and a local dealer to produce each truck. Then, our fleet central garage location, each truck must visit 6 different shops: service shop, quality assurance and quality check, hydraulic and welding, to name a few. Facing delays, our team dug in. We reached out to new vendors. We drove outside the state of Maryland to inspect equipment regardless of whether it was advertised as available. We negotiated timelines and delivery schedules with manufacturers and worked through weekends to ask everyone to do more, including our vendors and dealers. In short, we went the extra mile to find the trucks we needed. Then several teams at our central garage facility worked around the clock to make the necessary customizations to ensure that this initial round of load packers would be ready for service today. Our team is working diligently on the delivery of additional load packers, which we are treating as a top priority. This has been an extensive process involving many different people and subject matter experts to stretch their capabilities to adapt unprecedented circumstances, for leaving no stone unturned, investigating every option, and ultimately getting the job done. I'm pleased to celebrate this collaboration. It is a true testament of what can be achieved when the city agencies work together and in partnership with the vendor community to serve our constituents. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce our City Administrator, Faith Leach.
All right. Good morning, Baltimore. Okay, I need a little bit better than that. It's almost 70 degrees today. I said, good morning, Baltimore.
Good morning.
All right, all right. My name is Faith Leach, and I serve as the city's Chief Administrative Officer. Today, I want to dedicate my remarks to 2 important groups. The first group, the men and women of the Department of Public Works, employees like Yvonne Moore-Jackson and Alan Durant, who has worked at the Department of Public Works for the last 16 years. This is also dedicated to the residents that love this city, the residents that fight proudly for their city, for their hometown, residents like Miss Rita. These 2 groups, our employees and our residents, are the unsung heroes of our story, and I dedicate today to them. So join me in thanking our residents and our employees. Every day I'm privileged to work on behalf of the residents of this great city, working to improve the delivery of city services like mixed refuse collection. Nearly 1 year ago, I was confirmed by the Baltimore City Council as the city's second and first woman chief administrative officer. During that hearing, I pledged to do everything within the power of my office, leveraging every muscle of government to get us here, back to weekly recycling. And today, I proudly stand with Mayor Scott. I proudly stand with agency leaders and city employees to announce the return. Today is a testament to the hard-working men and women of the Department of Public Works, the Department of General Services, our Office of Performance and Innovation, our Human Resources Department, and the CAO team, including the Deputy City Administrator, Simone Johnson, who is here with us today, and our Assistant City Administrator, Alan Robinson. For more than a year, we met multiple times a week, reviewing industry best practices, analyzing staffing trends. We used data to drive our decisions. We analyzed the design of our services. We met with solid waste leaders from other municipalities, and we devised a plan to begin to transform solid waste. This was more than returning to weekly recycling. This was an opportunity to transform solid waste. Recently, our work was recognized by the EPA. Baltimore was selected to receive a $4 million recycling grant from EPA to develop a solar-powered composting facility co-located with the East Side Transfer Station, which will directly support our zero waste goals. Baltimore. This return to weekly recycling is about reducing waste. It's about improving our environment and ensuring our residents have every tool at their disposal to support the city's zero waste mission. So, to Baltimore City residents, we are going back to basic. The Scott administration is working as hard as we can to ensure our services are efficient, effective, and reliable. So today is just the beginning. We will continue to monitor our routes. We'll continue to analyze miscollections data and continuously work to improve our operations. We look forward to serving you each and every day. Thank you, Baltimore.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you again. And remember, make sure you clean it, contain it in something other than a plastic bag, and then curb it. And curb it properly. And these fine folks will pick it up for you. All right. And with that, we will take questions.
If you could step up to the mic so your colleagues can capture sound.
It's a little hum. Go ahead, Mackenzie.
Hi, Leah Russell from the Baltimore Sun.
Hold on 1 second, Leah. It's a hum on that one. All right. Try it now.
How about now?
You good.
Okay. I know you've used some of your ARPA funding to hire staff. I'm just wondering if you could speak to how sustainable you think this is once the city's ARPA award runs out.
DPW is a very well-funded agency. We won't have any trouble making sure that we keep DPW staffed.
And are there any additional contracts with outside companies needed to help restart collection?
Well, I'll let the director go into that, but I want this. I'm glad you asked that question because we always have had for quite some time contractual support for our solid waste, never trying to replace our workers, but we've always had contractual support to aid that. And we know we heard a lot of things from folks about, oh, you guys should just hire contractors. Well, everybody in this industry was going through the same thing. This wasn't something that we can just go to our contractors and have them do it all, right? One, they don't have the trucks. They can't go down the small alleyways and streets. And more importantly, they were suffering from some of the same exact things with needing vehicles, needing people in the industry that was struck hard by the pandemic. Director?
Thank you, Mayor Scott. We do have 2 vendors that help with our mixed refuse. That's our trash collection routes. But all of the staff that'll be picking up recycling starting this week is 100% DPW staff.
Thank you.
And just for extra clarification, the funding for ARPA is only through part of the year, and then they just go right back on to the DPW's general budget.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mackenzie.
How are you?
I'm cool.
This is an off-topic question. Do the Safe Streets employees get cell phones provided by LifeBridge and Catholic Charities that the city pays for?
Well, we have contracts with those companies and those service providers. Any discussion about whether what happens and who pays for those things are things that we can answer in addition with our partners, right? We know that, Mackenzie, oftentimes when the city grants out money or funds things through grants, those folks then allow their employees to have communication devices and other things. I would assume that this would be the same, but we'll give you a follow-up.
The answer is yes. If the people in the community know who the Safe Streets workers are, why won't the city tell the public who the names of the employees are?
Again, these aren't our employees, Mackenzie.
But your city does redact
Don't interrupt
the
me.
names.
I didn't interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. We're not doing that today. Again, we cannot just willingly give out what is called HR information, people's employees information of folks who do not work for the city of Baltimore. I don't know why you can't comprehend that. I understand that you have stories that you guys want to tell, but we cannot do that. We are not going to violate any rules and regulations. If we want to work with, if our partners want to share that information, they can share that information. But again, we would not go out there. You would not sit here and ask me a question about whether we'll say out loud what the names of police officers are who work undercover. You should give these Safe Streets workers the same respect.
So it's up to the Lifebridge and Catholic Charities are the ones telling the city to
They have
redact
their
the names?
they have their own HR policies that they'll follow. We are protecting the city of Baltimore and trying not to get sued by anyone. I think that you guys should know a little bit about that.
I have one more question for my colleague who was planning on coming to a different event, but that got canceled. If I could just ask about new polling from Sheila Dixon's campaign shows that she still has a slight edge. Are you worried that the voters are not grasping your message as this campaign continues?
I'm not worried at all. Mackenzie, I said this to you before. In the last election, they said that I only had 10% in the vote. And what happened? There's only one poll that matters, and that's Election Day. And when you look at even the results of that poll, that's a dead even heat. And that's exactly where we like to be, because we know nobody in this race is going to outlast me or beat me in a race to the finish. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Thank you very much.